The gist of it is there's this huge conflict that comes to center around Tupac, who's the big West Coast star, and Biggie, who is the East Coast star. And Tupac's with Suge, and Biggie is with Sean Diddy. So things come to a head on November 30th, 1994, when Tupac Shakur is shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Studios in Times Square. This is not when he dies. Tupac was a tough guy.
Real quick, just to rewind in this story of what happened. So the East Coast, West Coast thing, one of the big inciting factors were the Source Awards in New York. Probably, I think, a year before Tupac died. And it was Suge Knight was on stage directly insulting Diddy. That was his thing. He stood up on stage and he said, "Hey, if any of y'all want to be out there and not have a producer that is singing and dancing all up in your videos and being all in trying to make himself part of the show, right? Then come over to Death Row." Right. And this was this was when Snoop got involved. This is when this was probably the most. There was also a moment just before that where Diddy and or maybe it was right after, I forget, where Diddy and Suge were in a strip club in Atlanta, and Suge's best friend, that was one of the times you were talking about, Suge's best friend got shot and killed in the parking lot or whatever after that altercation. So up until Tupac getting shot, there's multiple deaths that have already happened. This is a back and forth thing that's kind of been going on, and they've been antagonizing. But it's Tupac and Biggie verbally in the public, right? Mm-hmm. But this is a Suge Diddy situation. This is their egos that are bleeding down into their artists that are fighting against each other, because Biggie and Tupac are best friends at one point in time. Well, not best friends, but they are good friends at one point in time. This is an important part to understand. Yeah. Biggie used to sleep on Tupac's couch. Tupac's acting and starting out his career. He's getting of his first records and everything. He's starting to have success before Biggie. Biggie's sleeping on his couch. Biggie is his friend. So Tupac comes to New York to record at Quad Studios. This is the big inciting incident past before the Source Awards thing. Tupac comes to New York. He's recording in Quad Studios. He comes down to the lobby. Biggie and Diddy are there as well that same night. He comes down to the lobby. He gets shot and robbed in the lobby, right? Yeah. And this is New York lobby. It's 10 feet. There's a security guy there. It's so he gets shot in that lobby, and he immediately blames Biggie for selling him out.
And there's also it's worth noting, Biggie and Puffy are in the studio, right? At the time. And he is the only. It's a quote-unquote robbery, but he is the only one who gets shot.
Yes, he's the only one that gets shot, and it's been dramatized in a lot of biopics and everything. But essentially you got to. This is it's a nondescript place. I've been to Quad Studios before I recorded there. It's a pretty nondescript place. It's not a flashy studio. In LA, you can see a lot of the studios, a lot of them are kind of nondescript, but you can they have signs or whatever. Quad Studios has no sign. Quad Studios is not an accident where you just stumble in and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
You do have to know somebody's there. It's on the 13th floor or some shit like that.
Yeah, he wasn't on the street and it was a crime of opportunity, right?
Right.
The fact that he's this had to have been them is not paranoia or whatever ruling him.
And so that builds up. Tupac actually, right after that shooting, he goes to jail for sexual assault, spends some time in jail, and that's when Biggie's career grows, gets all big, and he comes out of jail to see Biggie now succeeding fully, and also feeling that hatred and that they were involved in this somehow of me getting shot, becomes incredibly paranoid. This is when the Tupac switch really goes to the gangster shit.